Morning, sir. Today, me and my friends are gonna make a presentation on our group project. That is, the title is Nokia Smartphone Project. I am Adni Firdaus bin Muhammad Zainal, matrix number MA296. Okay, first the introduction. Okay, the objective of this project is to investigate the evolution of Nokia smartphone fingerprint security throughout the years. Then to know the difference between the security of Nokia smartphone with other brand. Okay, so the project scope is our company Nokia is planning to develop a new type of fingerprint scanner. First, involving a task assigning to develop, manufacture, to produce fast, safe, and trendy fingerprint. The first step is identifying project management process like determining amount of workforce, ROI, and NPV. What is ROI? ROI is rate of investment, and NPV is net present value. So and lastly, the step is making final decision through analysis to make the fingerprint. So actually we have three type of fingerprint scanner. So we can see through this table. First, we have optical fingerprint technology. Then we have capacitive fingerprint technology, and then we have ultrasonic fingerprint technology. So based on these types of fingerprint, we will look the difference between on some aspect, that is imaging ability, imaging region, resolution, equipment size, durability, power, and cost. So okay, first the optical fingerprint technology. The imaging ability is the drive fingers are poor, sweaty, and slightly dirty. Fingers are not clearly imaged, susceptible to dirt and grease on the skin. So the imaging region is large compared to other type of fingerprint scanner. The resolution is the lowest, that is less than 500 dpi. And the equipment size is very large, so no wonder this phone is so big. And the durability is very long, the power is so large, and the cost is high. Right, so let's take a look at capacitive fingerprint technology. Okay, the imaging ability is dry fingers are fine, wet and rough fingers can also be imaged, susceptible to dirt and grease on the skin. The imaging region is small, and the resolution is higher than the optical fingerprint technology but lower than ultrasonic. So it is up to 600 dpi. The equipment size is small. It is the smallest compared to the other two. The durability is long, the power is small, and the cost is very low compared to other fingerprint scanner. So okay, let's take a look the best fingerprint technology, that is ultrasonic fingerprint technology. The imaging ability is very good. Imaging region is normal, and resolution is up to 1000 dpi. The equipment size is normal, like also with the durability is normal, and the power is very large. But somehow the cost is very high compared to capacitive fingerprint technology and optical fingerprint.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Nazri Binti Mustafa, and my ID number is MA19062, and I will present about project management process. Project management process has 5 processes, which are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling, and lastly is the closure. So this is the explanation about each of the process. So for the first one is initiation. So we need to figure out why the project is important and make a project charter. Includes data such as the project limitations, objective, the appointment of the project manager, budget, and estimate schedule, among other things. For the second one is project planning. So identifying technical requirements, producing a true project timeline, building a communication strategy, and defining goals and deliverables are some of the main responsibilities in this part of the project. And for the third one is execution. Set up effective procedures and keep a close eye on your team's development. keeping excellent cooperation amongst project stakeholders, and use the greatest project collaboration tools currently on the market to assist you. And the fourth one is monitoring and controlling. So setting critical success factors and key performance indicators may help project managers ensure everyone stay on track with the original objectives. And lastly is the closure, which is the project manager is also in charge of terminating disagreements and completing the associated documentation and conduct a post-project meeting for reflection. So we continue with the strategic management process. So in this slide, this is the flow of the strategic management process, which type are in review, revise, mission, and we set the new goals and objective, and after that is portfolio of strategic choice, and after that is strategy implementation, and lastly is project selection, and also we do the projects after that. So this is the explanation, which start with the mission and strategy. Our project's mission is to provide better smartphone features for our consumer. We want to create a smartphone that is of the highest quality yet affordable for the consumer. So the goals and objective, after we establish where we are now standing in the industry, the next step is to define the objectives that will guide us toward realizing our ambitions. It is important that our goals be congruent with the purpose and vision of our firm. And the third one is strategy implementation. So strategy means simplify the viewing of company process and identification of areas that might need improvement by working from the highest level down. And lastly is project portfolio. The design of portfolio project system must include classification of a project, selection criteria depending upon classification, sources of proposal, evaluating of proposals, and lastly is managing the portfolio of projects. That's all for me. Thank you.
So there are 8 steps in the manufacturing process of the mobile phone, which is conception, making prototype, working on internet services, software installation, testing phase, mass production, packaging, and shipment. So for the conception phase, the features and the shape of the future phone will be discussed together between the designer and the company members. The best ideas about the shape, style, and look will be chosen, and after a long time-consuming process, the decision about the look and the design of the future smartphone will be made. For the second step, which is making prototype, the design of the finalized phone will undergo amendments and alterations after all the opinions have been suggested. The prototype is just a fake phone that do not use the real material that will be used on the phone. Once the design is finalized, the work will be started from the inside working kit of the handset. The next step is working on internal services. In this step, the final design of the smartphone will be passed to the electronic engineering teams to work with their skill on the processor and memory of the handset. In the software installation step, by loading the pre-decided working system, the software team will start to infuse life into the smartphone. The developers will ensure and check whether the software fits in with the phones perfectly or not, whether the compatibility of the hardware and software is smooth or not. So for the testing phase, when all the software and hardware are already being installed in the smartphone, the phone will be tested numerous times to make sure that it is ready for mass production. Okay, for the mass production step, the mass production will take place in the manufacturing plants of the associated company. After assembling the product, the handset will be ready to send for packaging and will be packaged for shipment. The handset along with the user manual and accessories will be put together in a box and is ready to be shipped to different markets and countries. And lastly, for the shipment step, all the packaged device will be shipped and transported to different markets and countries around the world. So for the material selection for the body of a smartphone, the main material to make the body of the phone is usually metal, glass, plastic or ceramic materials. The metal body of a smartphone is usually made up of aluminum alloy that is being mixed up with a small amount of magnesium or any other materials to enhance its strength and flexibility. The second one is the display. The display technologies in a smartphone come in 2 main types, which are based on LCD and LED. LCD is an IPS technology, while LED is AMOLED or Super AMOLED. For the battery, most smartphone devices are use lithium-ion batteries, which consist of a pair of electrodes and have electrolytes between them. Lithium, graphite, and nanowire are the main materials that will be used to make the electrodes, but all of them rely on the chemistry of the lithium because it is a reactive material which has the propensity to combine with other elements. So for the system on a chip, the fabrication of the chip is usually made up of silicon that occurring, semiconductors that transmits or insulates electricity, and many small elements such as transistors. A technique known as doping, which is the injection of imperfections into silicons, can alter its electrical characterization. For memory and storage, most mobile phones nowadays are using LPDDR4X RAM, but high-end smartphones, they are using LPDDR5 RAM. And LP stands for low power, which means it can reduce the total voltage of the chip, making them become more efficient and extend the battery life of the mobile phone. So the last one is the camera. All smartphones come with a rear-facing camera and a front-shooting camera. The three main parts of the camera are the sensor, which is to detect the light, the lens as the component where the light will come pass through, and the third one is the image of the processor. Most smartphones are using plastic materials as the camera lens instead of a glass. It is because an extremely complex high-resolution lens is required by most smartphones to create sharp images.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Aina Zafira binti Zanuddin. I'm going to present to you the result and discussion part. First, the financial portfolio. So in this table, you can see the comparisons of phone model in terms of price, initial investment, expected annual sales, and revenue for 3 years. Next, the payback periods. So in this slide, I show you the formula and also the calculation for the payback period for each models. So why do we calculate the payback period? It is because we want to know how long it takes for us to pay off the initial investments. Next, the returns of investment ROI. So in this slide, I show you the calculation of ROI for each model and also the formula for ROI. So why do we need to calculate the ROI? It is because we want to know the efficiency of investment. Next, let's present value NPV. So in this slide, I show you the formula and also the calculation of NPV for each models. So we need to know the NPV because we want to know the profitability of each project. So this is the graph for payback period, ROI, and NPV for each models. So in this graph, we can see that for the payback period, model 7.2 have the shortest time needed to pay off the investment. And for the ROI, we can see that model 7.2 have the highest efficiency investments with 542.86. And for the NPV, we can see that model 7.2 is slightly profit than model 8.3 5G. So in the end, we can conclude that model phone 7.2 is the better options for this project with 0.18 years payback period, 542.86% of return of investment, and 4,372.02 net present value. I think that's all from me. I'll pass to the next presenter.